First question, just wonder if you can take us back maybe a little bit over the last couple of months. So before the combine, I'm hearing that you were potentially going to look overseas. Can you tell us what went into that thought process? And
yeah, so pretty much for the first 3 years or ever since I began in college, I wanted to go overseas. I kind of figured that to be the next step. So when all the interest started coming from the MLS, I had to start considering it. So like a few months before the combine, I got invited, and so I mean there's no reason not to go. So I went down. I planned on going down and just seeing what came of it. And fortunately, I played well, and a lot of teams are interested. So it just went from there, really.
And at the combine, I heard a lot of talk about you being a wide player. From the highlight videos we've seen, it looked like you were pretty much a central player. Can you tell us, were you playing a little bit out of place there? Or?
No. I'm attacking midi in the middle of the park. Down at the combine, I guess a few of the coaches, they thought they saw me as a wide player. A few of my skills, I guess, are transferable to outside mid. So it just came from coaches, and they felt that I could play there. And I feel like they also had a need for more outside mids, so they're trying to see.
But you think here with RSL, you're more of a central player? Or do you know that yet?
No, I don't know. Me and Jason haven't spoke about it yet, but I mean, as a rookie, I'm just looking to get minutes anywhere I can. So if it happens to be on the flank, it's no problem. But I do feel my best position is definitely in the middle.
Okay. What did the interest that you saw coming out of the combine, that kind of convince you at that point that the MLS was maybe the place for you right now, or did you just?
No, it actually was more a phone call and a talk with Jason, and that was what really got me considering staying, because even after the combine, I still wasn't sure, and there's like a few clubs that I'd been talking to, but I like Jason and I like what he had to say and that was the phone call actually came the morning of the draft, and so it all happened really fast, and then and I just made my decision to come here or to stay in the
So
MLS.
you hadn't signed with the league at that point?
No, I hadn't.
Okay. Take us through draft day. What was that like? Where were you? How did you follow it?
So I was up in Boston. My brother just recently moved down there, and so I was visiting him. I just thought it'd be a good idea to visit him after the combine, and so the morning I actually got woken up by a phone call from Jason, and he was just he had heard, because the MLS wanted me to decide if I was going to sign with them that night. And I had chosen not to, and I hadn't really heard of anything of Salt Lake's interest or anything like that. So, the morning of, I got woken up by a phone call. We spoke. He conveyed his, RSL's interest in me and stuff like that, and he said that he was going to talk to my agent and then also talk to the league, because they had. They'd taken back the offer, so there actually wasn't even a contract for me to sign. And so it was probably about an hour or so later. I went out and got some breakfast, and then I got a call from my agent, and he told me the new offer from the league, and RSL had also, or Jason had also said that he wanted to pick me in the first round too, and which was a part of it. And so yeah, so then I was out to breakfast, and then I got a call from Bruce Arena actually, and then and that was the first I heard from them too. Like all of this was happening the morning of, which was pretty interesting to me. And so we spoke for a little bit. He just said that they were interested, and that was about it. It was a pretty short conversation, and then I talked to my agent when they came back, or when the league came back with the offer, and so I just I felt like that if I were to sign, that I would end up here, and that was a positive for me because my agent and a few other coaches had only good things to say about Jason and Robin. So yeah, that's pretty much when I made my decision. I faxed the contract in maybe an hour before the draft.
Wow.
And then watched it by myself. Actually, my brother was at work. Just watched it in my brother's apartment.
Were you anxious as each pick went by?
Yes, very very anxious. Because there still were a few teams that were higher that had expressed interest. So, and eventually I think that Salt Lake had to do something with the trade of Clint. So yeah, I was very very anxious and very nervous the whole time.
Okay. You mentioned that there were a couple opportunities in Europe. What teams were those that you were looking at maybe going on trial with?
So I used to play youth soccer at Colorado Rush, and they recently got a partnership with Auxerre, the club in France. It's a little outside Paris, and so one of my former coaches was going over there with a few other players, and then he heard that I was going over there, so he set up a trial for me there, and then also I had a trial at Stuttgart set up.
Okay.
And so those were the two places that I was thinking about.
Okay. I read somewhere that when you were a little bit younger, you had a stint with, let me make sure I get this right, with Liverpool FC?
Yeah, it wasn't a stint or anything. It was just my team went over there.
Okay.
It was one of those UK tour things.
Okay.
It wasn't anything where I was over there by myself or anything like training.
And then what about with Atalanta?
Yeah, that was a trial when I think I was 17 or 16. And yeah, I was over there for about 10 days training with their Primavera squad, like their reserves basically. And yeah, that was a great experience, really. I got a chance to see, the youth system, the youth setup, and how they were developing players in Italy. And Atalanta is it's not one of the top clubs, but it's very respected for developing good players and being a mid-sized club over there.
And how did you get connected with that?
That was again through one of my coaches from the Rush, Carla Carnahia. He was he's just a coach. I think that year he was like my U16 coach or U17 coach, and I think he used to play there.